Hey you guys, hold on. Let me just figure this out for a second. The reason why I'm saying that, I think YouTube is acting up today. So I'm trying to upload, but I don't even know if my stream is online right now. It's kind of crazy. I'm not even seeing it on my feed. Okay, let's see over here. Details. This is public. Cancel. Okay. So I think this is what I'm just gonna do. Yeah, I don't know why it's not showing up. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you guys about, one moment here, about this quote that I came across. It is, I came, I saw, I conquered. And was said by Julius Caesar. Now, I know a lot of people have heard about this stuff. They probably think to themselves, oh, okay, it's just a quote. But I really believe that it has a deeper meaning to it. And if you just go past the whole Veni, Vidi, Vici sort of thing, and you think about life, it really pertains a lot to us because sometimes I think we look up to people and we see, hey, these people look so great, but we don't think about their mindset. We don't think about those goals that people have, right? It's kind of like those great figures that we see in our lives. A lot of people, I think we just kind of like stand back and say, oh, they're great, but I'm not great at all. And some people, they get really crippled by depression and anxiety. And I've been very open about, how much I've struggled with depression and anxiety. However, it's much better in my life now than it was previously. And the reason being is that I'm a lot more brave than I was before. So, for example, now I'm putting myself out of my comfort zone. I'm not though, I don't feel like I'm at 100%, but I'm trying, I'm trying really, really hard to just break a lot of bad habits. For instance, my comfort zone is just to be how I am regularly. It's not trying new things. And I've been thinking to myself, like, yeah, if you go through life and you just kind of do the same thing that you've always done, you'll never ever achieve anything else outside of it. And I don't talk about this in a disparaging way here, but uh, I see people, they just kind of go through the motions in life and they don't really live their life. They just kind of do their own thing. And then when they get older, they kind of think to themselves, like, oh man, I've spent so many years of my life and I had a good life, but it's not what you may have kind of wanted for yourself when you were younger. You see where I'm getting at? And I hope that when people think about themselves, I hope that they think that, if they have something in front of them, they should recognize it and then also think, okay, I want to put myself outside of my comfort zone so you can actually like make memories. You can actually say that you've become a person closer to what you've always wanted to be rather than just staying as yourself. Um, and I just want to say this because a lot of people, I think, waste their life away just dealing with depression and anxiety, and it's not a good feeling. It's really not a good feeling for people. Hold on, one moment. If you see like I'm struggling right now in terms of doing this live stream, it's because like I really don't know if this thing is up or not, and it's a little. Yeah, I think YouTube is just acting up today on me. Okay, here we go. Yay, it finally popped up. Okay, it finally popped up. So I am watching my own stream. I am watching my own stream. Yes, you heard that little thing. So this makes me a little worried because I'm like looking at this and I'm thinking, oh, okay, but maybe I'll redo this stream later on. But I just wanted to push this thing out there because I think it's something that I want you guys to really think about. If I got a tattoo, I'm not really big on tattoos, but if I got a tattoo, I would get this quote on me because I want people to, I want to live by these words. I don't want to just say, I was born in this world and I observed great people and then I died. Um, it's not good. Again, I've known countless amount of people where they just kind of go through the routines of things and they don't feel at the end of their life that they're happy. They don't feel like they did that much with their life. And it's really such a shame because life is just full of choices, right? We can do whatever we want in life. You want to go and start painting, you can paint. But why do we stop? Why don't we paint? Why don't we take the pottery class that we want to? Why don't we take, I don't know, cooking classes that we want to? It's because of ourselves. We have a lot of apprehension, or we tell ourselves, oh, we don't have time for that. But it's funny because when it comes down to things like watching TV, we make time for it, right? You want, like, how many people do I know who tell me, oh, Erica, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. I gotta go, let's play like a gaming. I need to do like some kind of raid with my friends with gaming. And they go to work, they come home and then they game and they stream and then they're like, oh, I'm so busy, I'm so busy. And at the end of it, like, I don't want to diss gamers here, but I'm going to say this. I used to be big on gaming before, believe it or not. The reason why I stopped gaming is because I thought to myself, of all the achievements that I achieve in a game, it doesn't translate to reality. And what matters to me is not me being the best like online player in the world. What matters to me is what's outside of that gaming thing. Again, if you want to play a video game, go right ahead. But understand that time that you spend playing video games comes at the expense of something else. Instead of learning how to cook better, for example, you spend your time working on your skills on a video game. And I'd say 99% of people are nobodies on these video games. It's a very cold thing for me to say it that way, but it's true. I have known several people in my life where they wrap up their self-esteem and their self-worth by being, by playing these video games. And they're like, oh, look at the level I'm at. I'm like at a master level or something like that. I'm thinking to myself, like, are you getting paid for it? No. Does anybody know you? No. It's cool. It's cool that you got this rank, but it doesn't translate into real life. And that causes problems because then people say my identity and my worth is stuck on a video game rather than what you're doing in your life. Nobody cares about a lot of these video games things. Maybe your gamer friends care, but outside of your gamer friends, what are you accomplishing in your life? See? So that is something that I see another pitfall for people. Again, if you're gaming and you like it, go and do what you want to do. But again, from personal experience, this is the reason why I had to stop playing certain video games. I used to play like 8 hours a day at one point. And looking back, I'm so embarrassed about it because what could I have done with those 8 hours a day, right? And I felt happy achieving all this stuff in an online world or a virtual world. But once I turn off that computer or that video game system, it's like I have nothing to show for it outside of that. Oh, cool. I did all this stuff, but does anybody know? Does anybody know what I did outside of that? Like, no, it's not apparent. It's not really cool to say, I spend so many hours playing a video game and yeah, I'm really kick ass at it. And it comes at the expense of other things in your life. So that is something that I think is really important to keep in mind. And this is the reason why I don't have any video game systems. I don't play video games. I think I would be very into that kind of lifestyle based on my past history, and I just can't do it. I rather focus on the real world, because with the real world, it's not like I turn off a TV monitor or a computer screen and I can't see that. There's no changes in my actual life. So what I'm doing, as I've told you guys, is, I'm working out now, and every time I work out, I feel better, and I look in the mirror and I can see these small little changes, and I'm really proud of myself. That is something that I wouldn't be able to achieve if I spent all my time playing video games. And again, I know what people are going to say. You can work out and you can play video games. I know that. But there are people out there that I personally know where they've spent so much time focusing on the video games that, again, it takes a toll on them, right? They rush home to play video games, and they want to be, they want to play this stuff, but they're not focused on them. So video games, I think, is a huge distraction to people. And if you have control, go for it. But for me, not so much. So just keep that thing in mind. Ask yourself, are you using the video games as a crutch for something else so you don't have to face yourself? I think there are people who do that kind of stuff. I've seen people more enthusiastic about a new video game than they are about their own changes in their own life. It's like, oh, okay, well, I got to work on, there's a new video game coming out and people are so excited about it. And then They just spend all their time, talking about this stuff when they could talk about changes that they could do in their life instead. Maybe it's just the things that I observe. Who knows? But that is something that I think is really big. The other thing that I think is really big is when you, hold on, let me put this back over here. Let me say this. Yeah, the other thing that I think that people need to focus on, besides just like these distractions, is that you just kind of have to see yourself as like your own Julius Caesar, your own conqueror. And I think if people have this kind of mentality where they see a problem in front of them and they conquer it, that's the most empowering video game character out there. It's not just, okay, I'm playing as this, let's say, this soldier of sorts, and I'm, doing this and I'm doing that, and I'm getting all these achievements. I think the most powerful achievement that we can achieve is really our own lives and our own little, accomplishments, accolades, that sort of stuff. But it's easier for people to just disassociate themselves from themselves and focus on their online character rather than who they are outside of that TV screen or computer screen. Yeah. So, that's why I don't like playing video games, for that reason. But yeah, if people work on themselves and they just kind of have this conqueror mentality, I think people will be a lot more happier with themselves. And it's not just like goals, but it's also like, let's say you're depressed or you have anxiety and you have a hard time talking to a person. Put yourself out there. Say, I came and I saw this problem and I wanted to do it and I overcame it. Right? You overcame that anxiety. So here's an example, right? I remember I was at this expo and I saw there was this umbrella on a vendor table. Okay, this is going to sound kind of stupid, okay, but let me just give you a peek on my anxiety. So I saw this umbrella on a vendor table. They were giving it away, and I thought to myself, oh, I could really use an umbrella to just keep it inside of, a car, because I didn't have one inside of a car. So I go to the vendor table, and I pass by it like a couple times, right? And I see the umbrellas, and I don't ask for it at all. And when I don't ask for it, right, it's kind of like I just say like, oh, okay, well, I'll do it tomorrow. And the next day comes, and then I see the umbrellas on the vendor table, and, I'm hesitant. And then finally, when I summon up the courage, by the time I swing back to the table, all the umbrellas are gone. And I have no one to blame for myself. Now, I know people would say, just buy an umbrella, Erica. It was like a $3 umbrella. No big deal, right? But it told me a lot about myself. It told me a lot about my anxiety, because I thought to myself, if I had conquered my own brain, I would have been able to just ask for an umbrella. I would have been one of those, like, I don't know, hundreds of people, maybe like 50 people at least, who got an umbrella. But I didn't, because I was just not comfortable. I wasn't willing to get outside of my comfort zone. And it's embarrassing to think like, oh, here I am, as a person over 30, and I didn't even summon the courage out to ask for an umbrella that people were giving away for free. See? So that was a huge learning experience for me too, right? That was a huge learning experience, and it made me think to myself, like, I can't let my life being controlled by like insecurity. Like, I got to put myself out there. And that's what I learned from that $3 umbrella that was for free and I missed out on. And not just like I missed out because I didn't ask for the first time. It's because I saw it for the first day. And then by the second day I saw it, by the time I finally summoned up the courage, it was gone. But all these other people, they didn't think about it. They came, they saw, and they conquered. And they have an umbrella. So that's like a little simplistic view, a little simplistic example about all the stuff that we want in life, but we never get it because we treat it like that umbrella. We think like, oh, okay, well, I'll just do it later. I'll handle it later. Oh yeah, I don't have the strength right now. I'll just watch things pass me by. And then finally, when you're like, okay, I finally summoned up the courage, it's too late. So yeah, that kind of thing just stood out to me. And if I had done this whole Vidi, Vidi, Vici sort of thing, I would have had an umbrella. But if I did get that umbrella, I wouldn't have had this story to share with you for this stream. But that was my learning experience, and I don't want to have I don't want to have another umbrella moment in my life where I just watch something pass me by, and it's just because of my own insecurity, my own little anxiety kind of thing over a freaking $3 umbrella. Crazy. So yeah, I've been a lot more braver since then, and I hold on to it because one of the things that I remember someone very, very close to me shared was this. I remember someone told me, they said, Erica, do you think people really remember the things that, the embarrassing things that you do? And I said, I think people notice it, and they say, if you do something embarrassing and you're a stranger, like they just, let's say you're walking through a subway or something like that, even if you fall down, even if you spill food or whatever, people are not going to really pay attention. They're going to notice and be like, oh, that sucks, and that's it. They're just going to walk on by. So you really shouldn't be afraid of embarrassment so much, because it's not like people will say, oh, like 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, hey, did you see that person over there? They did something really embarrassing, ha ha ha. But I think sometimes in our brain, we have this protectionary measure that we think to ourselves, if we do something embarrassing, or if we put ourselves outside of our comfort zone and we fail, then people will hold on to those negative things, and they'll just laugh at us. So it's kind of like an ego protection thing, right? But again, as I say, I've known people who've done embarrassing things. I've known people who have done super embarrassing things, had things blow up in their face. But I remember it, but it's not like I look back at it and I laugh to myself about it. I'm like, yeah, that really sucked, and that's it. For instance, I knew a person in my life that they were making a turn, and they were trying to go into a driveway, and this was 10 years ago or so, and they scraped the side of their car, and I felt so bad for them, right? And I remember they were so mortified because they couldn't believe that they missed the turn and the side of their car was all scratched up, and it sucked. But did I hold that against them? I just thought to myself, no, happens. You miss a turn, you misgauge that turn, you have the side of your car scrape against a wall, no big deal. Take it as a learning experience and say, yeah, I hope that person continues to make the turn and they clear it successfully. And I'm sure they did, after that. But or you think to yourself oh man, this is what happens when you misgauge a turn and you scrape the side against the wall. So try to be more careful. But you know what I'm saying? When people make mistakes, you can have learning experience from that. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to be oh yeah, that person's I don't think most people are oh, that person's a total F up, while they're gonna not do anything at all because they're always gonna be F up. I think when people have that kind of mentality, and this is just me, right? I think that it stems from being miserable and insecure, where they just say, once a mess up, always going to be a mess up kind of thing. I firmly believe people can change, and I believe that I firmly believe people can change, but it all comes down to if people want to change, right? But a lot of people, they don't want to change because they say to themselves, why should I change? Why should I change? Because change is hard to do. But change is absolutely necessary if you want to follow this, I came, I saw, I conquered, and you've had this life where you feel like you kind of, you didn't accomplish as much as you wanted to. Also, Keto Architect says, I ran into the subway door because it didn't open as fast enough that I expected in front of two cute girls. It was funny as fuck and felt liberating to not take it serious. Yeah. There's been times where I've done some embarrassing stuff too, right? And you just kind of laugh it off. Once you laugh it off, it's oh, whoops, now you know how it looks like if someone runs into a subway door. But it's no big deal, and if anything, you could take it if the girl's are you okay? You could say yeah, I'm okay, but my ego's a little bruised because everybody saw it. And I think if you say things like that, the girls will be oh my goodness, oh, you're so funny, that kind of stuff. And maybe you could strike up a conversation, right? It's so much better than just be oh, I'm so mortified. Oh, I did it in front of two cute girls. I think the way people handle situations is very telling as well. the way I see it, if I was a let's say watching, and I saw someone do that, and then they told me like, "Oh yeah, I'm so mortified. I feel so. Thanks for asking if I'm okay. I'm okay, but my ego's a little bruised because a lot of people saw me, and I didn't expect that to happen this morning." I think I would think very favorably of them because I would think to myself like, "Hey, this person had an embarrassing situation, but their mindset is that they're gonna get through it, and they just kind of laugh at themselves. Laughing at yourself about certain things is incredibly powerful, and I also think it's attractive when people can just like look at a situation and not be like, oh, woe is me, oh, I hate my life, I went through the subway door. You see what the difference there? One is like negative connotations and hold on to the negative connotations, and the other one is a lot more positive. So if you're able to laugh at it and be like, hey, you know what, that's life. Some day life goes smoothly, some days you clear the subway door, and other days you slam right into the subway door, but you got to get up, and that's the most important thing. So yeah, if you guys have any problems in your life and you guys feel like you're letting anxiety and depression hold you back, I would say assess your life and say, what have you accomplished by listening to that little anxiety depression voice in your head? The one that says like, oh, you can't do it. Like, you don't hear the voice, but it's like it just makes you feel like you can't do it, you can't accomplish certain things. Did that serve you favorably? And I would venture to say most likely no. I think that humans are meant to change and grow and be basically like a Julius Caesar. And if they can, and if people feel like they're not accomplishing whatever they want in life, then they become depressed, even more depressed, and even more anxious, and even more unhappy. And yes, Hardy, good morning. I know it's taken me a while to like reply to that, but yeah, when you have people like that, and they kind of come off as like a Julius Caesar, it is so much better for not only the psyche of them and the people around them, but also the world. I notice people who are very strong mentally, and those people who are very strong, they are very uplifting, and it makes me want to be stronger as well. So for me, right, I think I've told you guys this, like I don't watch a lot of YouTubers. The YouTubers that I do follow are the ones that are mostly motivational, because I think to myself there are a lot of people who are on YouTube, but I want to kind of have like certain personalities rub off on me rather than the people who are like, oh my goodness, let's go watch something like really funny today. Like I don't get anything out of like those funny videos too much. I think that sometimes people, they get into this whole TikTok thing and they laugh, but what do you gain from it? Not that much, right? Outside of the laugh, and then you look back and you realize you spent like freaking 2 hours watching TikTok videos or so, and that's really just like how would I say this? It's kind of like drinking liquid sugar. It tastes good, maybe, but you don't get anything out of it. You get no nutrition out of it. So I think there's a time and place for everything, but keep that kind of stuff in moderation because, time is ticking. Which is funny because right now I'm drinking a salted caramel drink. I wanted to try it, and I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to try it because I've heard good things about it, and yeah, it's good. But definitely portion control. I should have asked them to not put so much ice because my thing is melting a little, but whatever. Next time if I decide to get it. Yeah, but don't drink so much sugar and coffee and things like that. I just felt like trying it because, I came to coffee place and I saw it and I was curious and I conquered that little desire. I was like, I'm going to get that freaking salted caramel drink. It's all about moderation. Not really a Starbucks chick. So, yeah, you like small little things in your life, you can do that kind of thing. You came to a place where you wanted to have a better body. So you saw what you wanted in yourself, and then you conquered it by going to the gym. And, same thing. You came to a restaurant, you saw something that you wanted to eat, and you got it. You conquered it. It sounds so stupidly simple that way, but a lot of people, they just don't do that kind of thing. So this is the reason why, out of all the tattoos I could get in the world, I would most likely get this one, because I like the story behind it. See, so some people, they get this, and if I got a tattoo, I would get it right here. See this? This one, like here on the side. I think it's kind of cool, but yeah, I don't plan on getting a tattoo.